I'm Mike Mauren, and this is the e-Seller Source. This is going to be the Wholesale Liquidation 101 feature. We're going to do it pretty regularly because there's a lot of folks that are either in wholesale liquidation or want to be in wholesale liquidations, have questions or comments or that sort of thing. And being somebody that actually sells wholesale liquidation, closeouts, that sort of thing, maybe I can offer some perspective that might be helpful to you. So we're going to do this on a regular basis and talk about those sort of things. And here with me, of course, is Bill Keenan. You've met him before on e-Seller Source and, of course, in the videos. And
maybe I'll have a little perspective as a buyer at times.
Absolutely.
You know, I haven't sold pallets and truckloads like you do and so forth, but yeah, hopefully as a buyer, maybe that can help a little bit.
Right, and that's a good point, because most of the perspective you get from these wholesale liquidation classes are from people who buy it, and that's a good perspective. There's no question about that. I just hope to give you a little different side of it, maybe some of the inside or the backroom information that maybe you don't know about, or maybe that a buyer doesn't understand, because it may play some role in buying your lots.
Along the lines of Howard on, it was a couple of weeks ago, I think, on the Facebook group, asked the question about some of the ins and outs of shipping if you're doing LTL, less than a load. He asked, first of all, he was asking the question of if the buyer or the seller in a transaction, you know, tends to, who typically arranges the shipping, and well, I guess ultimately the buyer always pays for the shipping, but whether it's built into the cost of the load or not, but who typically arranges the shipping?
Well, that's a good point, and I think that's maybe one of the stumbling blocks that people run into a lot when it comes into buying bigger lots or truckloads or what have you, is the whole freight thing seems to be kind of mysterious. It can be expensive, and maybe that one thing that holds you back. First of all, if you're buying a pallet, a truckload, or whatever, typically the seller will set it up. And typically, it's best to let them set it up, because they probably have a number of vendors that do the freight and the shipping. And if they're doing the service they should do for you, they will find the best priced for the best service and make that available to you. And
right, I mean, because if they can arrange the best shipping options in terms of cost and speed and so forth, I mean, that helps them sell their loads too. I mean, because the overall cost comes down the less the shipping cost is. So I would assume the seller would be motivated to try to help you get the best shipping.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons too is because they do so much business with these freight companies, and these freight companies want their business, they tend to get better prices as well. Now, you would think that you always get the best price with a shipper or a seller. That's not always the case. There are some that will mark up freight and that sort of thing. That's not something I ever get involved in with the people I deal with. It's just not worth the hassle. There's not enough money in it to do it. It's not that honest in dealing with your customer. As Bill said, we want you to get the best price you can get and make the most money, so you can come back to us and spend some more money.
Then Howard also asked with regard to shipping costs, you know, if there's some additional cost if you have a shipment come to your house versus if you were to go to the freight, you know, the freight warehouse or the freight terminal or whatever and pick it up there.
Yeah, that's a question I get quite a bit. You know, for those of you that are just starting in the wholesale liquidation, you maybe not have a warehouse with a dock. That is the preferred way to get a load. They pull the truck up onto the dock, you pull the stuff off, and they move on down the road. But that's not always the case. Even with Bill here in this warehouse, it's a nice big warehouse, has plenty of room, but he doesn't have a dock here.
Yeah, so typically when I have a pallets picked up, or when I'm, you know, receiving them, I have to pay a $50 lift gate fee for whatever vehicle. So, you know, so that substitutes for the loading dock or for the forklift.
And that's the answer to the question. Does it cost more to drop it off at your house or someplace without a dock? Yeah, it does. It's probably about $50. Most cases, it's not crazy. It's not an insurmountable amount, but it will cost you more. It also will cost you more if it takes a long time to unload this, because after a period of time, they may charge you more for freight if they have to stay at an extended period of time at your location to get the truck unloaded.
Now, I do have a little shipping hack in terms of there have been times, not necessarily intentionally, where I wasn't asked, oh, do you need a lift gate, for your delivery? And so I've had 18 wheelers pull in here, and so at that point in time, what we do is we just break down the pallets on the truck and unload them that way. And so no, we didn't need a lift gate.
That is the standard ask for forgiveness as opposed to permission. and Bill's saying used to seat. No, I've done that too. There's just no way to get it here. And to be honest with you, a lot of semis, most semis I know don't have the capability of having a lift gate. It's usually the box trucks or the smaller trucks.
I have had some of the local freight forwarders, they call me and they say, well, do you really need a lift gate? Just because, it's more difficult for them to arrange for that too, because then they got to get the stuff off the one truck onto another truck. And
right.
So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So there is some extra cost to it. I just want to let you know, as you go along and you have questions about liquidation, wholesale, closeout, buying big lots, that sort of thing, why don't you send us the question. I am Bill. I am me. Give me the question. Give us your email address so we can give you a personal response as well. But we'll bring it up here on this video feature, and so everybody can learn some things about it. That's what we're going to try to do, is teach some people about wholesale liquidation.
Okay. Now, along the lines, we were talking a little bit about shipping. Mike, I know you've been doing a lot of packing and shipping lately, and how's it going?
It sucks. It really, frankly, sucks. Here's the deal. We put out a lot of lots of groceries and health and beauty and that sort of thing. And I do it because I'd been going through these warehouses. At first, I didn't, these salvage grocery warehouses, and at first I didn't see any potential in it. Then I started realizing there were lots of things that Amazon sellers might be able to use and would make money off of. So I started putting them out, like you see on eSeller Source.
The different pet foods, the different canned goods, the different candies, health and beauty. Yeah, lots of variety.
Yeah, I put that out there, and initially I had no interest in packing and shipping. But after a period of time, you realize I've got to ship it to my customer, then they ship to Amazon.
Well, yeah, I mean, and as we had talked about too, while I was kind of watching and giving you advice from the sidelines, but any extra cost you can eliminate for the person that's buying it along the line, makes a wider variety of products potentially resellable for them.
Absolutely. And so when I'd sell 10 cases of that, 5 cases of that, 6 cases of that. It wasn't a big deal because I'm an Amazon seller. I can pack and ship, and it's not a big problem. But then it started getting bigger, and we started selling more product, more people buying bigger lots. And that's where it got difficult because, as I say, I'm not a pack and shipper. I can do it. I don't like it. I've got a lot of other time to spend on sourcing and finding things and doing other things as well. So it got to be really a saturation point. I'm trying to sell products, but then I got 1 million products to ship out. And it got to the point where it's hard to do. Things slow down a little bit because I can't do it all at once. I have a couple people helping me, but that's really not what they're built for, and that's not what I'm built for. So enter Bill Keenan. Bill is more adept, more cognizant, and more focused on packing and shipping.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of, it's not a huge place, but I've got a little warehouse space here so we can have a process where things move through and so forth. And, I know some of the folks that have bought items from you on eSeller Source or items we've worked on together. I've done some prep work, so forth, for them as well. And I'm interested if it helps you and helps the other people in the group. I'm interested in. I'm going to start doing some of the prepping on most of what you sell and so forth, because that way you can be focused on spending your time more on finding more items that might make sense for people. And the reason I want to do it is really to keep my people busy. I'm building a team of people here, and I'm building processes that we can replicate and so forth. And so that way, if I have maybe 2 days a week that I dedicate my people to, shipping out eSeller Source stuff, that'll work good and help me kind of level out the work I've got going for them and help you spend more time finding more items and opportunities for folks on the group, and help the folks on the group hopefully be more successful with the products too.
So we have it on video. He wants you to make more money. He wants me to make more money. he doesn't give a damn about money. It's
Well,
just
well-
being good-hearted and helpful. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that, and we'll take you up on the offer.
Well, in round numbers, again, I think the way we're going to do it, right, is as you've done it, there's not like costs going to be separated out. This much is the prep and pack and whatever. When you list something, you're going to say, hey, it's, $18 for the case includes prep and pack, right? But in round numbers, I mean, I don't know how to necessarily price it or whatever, but we've talked kind of in round numbers. I think isn't kind of the standard out there $1 an item for prep and packing. Now, on items that I have to put in boxes, it'll probably be a quarter or 50 cents more. But again, a 6-pack is an item. Right. It's not 6 items, and so anyway. But again, the people that on the end of the transaction, the folks that are buying the stuff, they don't have to worry about that. That's just kind of the internal calculations we have to figure out.
Exactly. You'll see the price, and you'll decide whether it's going to work for you or not. And hopefully, we can get you a lot of things that will make you a lot of money, and you keep buying from us, and we can make a little money, and Bill can keep busy and make a little money, and that's how business works. Everybody has to win. Everybody has to benefit. Otherwise, it all stops. So we're going to try to keep that process going. We're going to improve. We're going to kind of expand now with Bill handling the packing and shipping. It'll be a better service for everybody buying. And it'll move quicker, and it will move smoother. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there'll be growing pains and learning pains as we go, but ultimately, I think it'll be good for everyone.
Absolutely, and I want to encourage people, if you have questions about wholesale liquidation closeout, again, I am Bill or I. Send us a question, give us your email address, and we will answer those questions on this video feature with some regularity, at least once a week, maybe more if we have those kinds of questions. If you want to see what's happening in terms of the lots that are available, of course, you see them on eSeller Source, but you can also, the Facebook page, but you can also go to esellersource.com, the website. There's a section for case lots, which will be the kind of the ongoing stuff. On the front page, I'll have the current hot lots, if you will, and that way you can keep track of what's going on with product available without having to scan down the Facebook page and all that sort of thing. But we want you to look at them. We want you to consider all these things, even though they don't have the tiniest rank and the huge ROI.
You know what? I mean, this has happened a little bit on some items you've listed recently. I enjoy getting into discussions about them, just because different people will have different perspectives as to, is this a good item or not? And I think just having those discussions, I don't take any offense by it. If someone says, oh, that item doesn't look very good, I enjoy the discussion of, well, what, here's why I think it is good, and so forth. So.
And that's the case. Bill and I have been talking about this, and I think we're going to do it. There are things we put out there that people ignore, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. But I think Bill and I are just going to buy those things and put them out there and come back to you and tell you how they did, because you'd be surprised how things sell. Rank is a very fluid thing. It can change in an hour, and I've seen it do it. So take that as some consideration, but don't make that your final choice or reason for your choice in products.
I can't add anything to that.
Okay. Well, we'll finish it up here. We want to thank you for spending some time with us here on video on eSeller Source. If you have questions, IM us about wholesale liquidation, closeouts, and that sort of thing. Get out there, sell some stuff, and we'll see you next time.